Buy my book.
Okay, for those of you who missed the live stream last Saturday, we did a 12-hour live stream. We're doing it again this Saturday. And you're saying you might be able to stop by at one point. Probably not the full 12 hours, like you said.
Like what was it in the Simpsons episode? Like, some friends of Homer's might stop by.
Oh, the spin-off thing, where like, greetings. I'll have to angle it to where it's like pointed right at the door. Knock,
just
knock,
wait
knock.
for like 3 hours, and then like, hey, I'm here.
I need to start out the live stream by just putting a turkey on the table. Like, oh, I didn't hear you come in. We're doing that again this Saturday. It'll be 10 to 10 again, 10 a.m. Central Time to 10 p.m. And if you go to our Indiegogo page, because I think we got like 24 days left on the Indiegogo for the sequel to the Snob movie. If you go to the Indiegogo page now, in the updates section, there is at least part one. Part one of a 2-part Cinema Snob review on the Cinema Snob movie is there if you want to see it early. It's going to be public on Monday, at least part 1 is, and then part 2 the following Monday.
That's what I'm going to watch.
That was... fuck this early shit. You don't need like a... It's not like Patreon where you got to pay to see it early. It's just there on our Indiegogo page in the updates section. So go check that out. And that was fun to do, a Snob episode on the Snob movie.
I was saying that I'm going to have to watch it because I remember like nothing about that movie. Apparently me and David were dating in it.
Oh, having an affair on Irving?
I remember that Irving was like jacking off in the trees. Sorry, spoiler for the Snob movie.
Jacking off on the tree.
You get to see Irving's dick.
And in the notes I was taking when I was doing it, I was writing going like, there are a lot of fat Brad jokes that I wrote in here.
That's me!
Oh, I'm so pissed at myself.
You be nice to my friend Brad.
My weight fluctuates so hard in that movie.
You were pretty stressed though, man.
Not really. It was just made during that year when I was losing a lot of weight. Mm-hmm. And you can tell during the movie, and it's shot out of sequence. So there's points where I'm like a little heavier, and then there's parts where like suddenly I've lost like 70 pounds in minutes. And then I'm back to being heavy again in the following scene.
So you're like Elena Bonham Carter's tits in Sweeney Todd.
Yeah. Exactly. I knew it should have been a musical.
People tell me that all the time.
Constantly in the comments. I thought you'd be taller, and you look like Helena Bonham Carter's tits.
It's funny because it's true.
And you, so we just got out of Hotel Transylvania 3. Mm-hmm. I didn't do my homework on this, so I'm gonna have to copy.
Well, I sure did.
I'm gonna have to copy off of yours.
I texted him like, I've seen the first 2, so ask me anything.
Right. And I thought I might have time, but I'm gonna be in Austin this coming week. So check out Double Toasted this week. I'll be hanging out over there. So I've been having to get a lot of stuff done in advance, so I was editing all day today, and I wanted to check out the first 2 before going to see this, but I just didn't get a chance to. And in watching this movie, I was sitting there, there's really no reason I haven't seen the first 2. I wasn't avoiding them. They just came out when I probably wasn't going to see everything. Mm-hmm. So that's just when they came out, and I didn't get a chance to go see them. And then in seeing this movie, I was like, man, I really do want to see the first 2 movies, because I'm actually having a really good time with this flick.
I mean, like, you're not lost. I'm sure you weren't lost.
No, I wasn't lost.
There's like Dracula's dad is like plays a big part in the second one.
Okay.
Mostly it's just like picking up like oh man, Johnny brought his backpack, because like the backpack is an important character in the first one.
Okay. Yeah, and having that in this, I wasn't...
It's one of his groomsmen when he got married.
I wasn't confused by that when it popped up in this. Like, I wasn't going like, oh, well, clearly I'm missing something. Like, I wasn't sitting there like that. Like, there have been... This isn't the first time when I've seen, like, the third part of a kid's movie and hadn't seen the first 2, and I don't think I was lost at those either. But this, comparing it to, like, recent third parts of kids movies. This was way better than like Despicable Me 3, which came out last year. It didn't have a problem that I see in a lot of like sequels to children's movies, or like when it's a lesser one.
Yeah.
Whereas like all these characters would be really, really popular in the earlier movies, so like side plots would really be crammed in a later part. Like Despicable Me 3 did that, like the sequel to Rio did that. In this, like, yeah, the characters are all in this movie, but there's no like useless plot line thrown in there where like, oh, now here's the plot where someone's gotta win a swimming competition or something like that. Yeah. There's none of that. Like, yeah, characters from other movies, they do pop up in this. They're there when they're needed to be and when it's a really, really good gag. It's never like, oh, suddenly this other movie has taken over and there's all these multiple plot lines going on. There really wasn't. It was a very, very focused film.
Yeah, and like, my main problem with sequels to children's movies is they tend to make much broader strokes with stuff that was in the first movie, so like it ends up kind of feeling like a stick figure of a much better drawing. And that's probably why I didn't like the second Hotel Transylvania as much as I like the first Hotel Transylvania, because there's a lot more just like, you know, like, oh, let's take this kid out and figure out if he's a vampire. That's like the entirety of the movie.
Oh, okay.
But this one I think succeeded where that one failed, in that it was a little more zany and hijinksy, but it wasn't like, the characters felt like characters. They weren't just, you know, there to bucket brigade the plot along. No,
and I really love the animation in this movie.
It's like, so good. It was good in the first two as well.
Yeah, and and it's the same dude who did all the other ones as well.
Genndy
Tartakovsky. Yeah, it's the same. It's so tonally, was it about the same as the other two movies?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I think that they made Vlad a little floppier in this one than he was in the first two, but not by much. Like, he was still very much that sort. You said it was like Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
And I think that's an apt description of the way that character moves, and it's not how you expect Dracula to move, and so I think it's a fun style choice.
And this movie would just get laughs out of me by just simply how things are animated. Like, characters just have so much personality based on just how they look. Like, they can get laughs, and you can kind of get a sense of what a character is about by just simply kind of looking at them, like looking at their eyes, looking at how they're drawn. And this would get just huge laughs out of me and Looney Tunes would do the same thing, where a lot of humor could come from characters just moving from one place to the other just in a big clump. Like, there's a part where they visit a desert island in this, and this, rail light comes down, and just it's like a pile of monsters. Just really, it's like in Looney Tunes where it's like, here comes the band, like, you know, like. And you said during the movie, and I totally agree. Like, you said, like, man, these fish are just cracking me up, and they were like me too.
He was in, I want to say the first one, Chris Parnell's Fishman.
Yeah,
he was leading like the. It wasn't synchronized swimming. It was like old ladies doing water aerobics, and so like he was leading that class. So he was a returning character, but there was like swarms of them of the like fish bodies with like little people feet on them, and their faces were sticking like straight up in the air. They didn't even like attempt to bend them down to look at us. So it's just like these little lips, just like speaking to the sky.
And they're all over because they are the employees of this cruise. The plot is Drac needs a vacation. Like, everyone's kind of telling him he needs a vacation. He's just kind of slumping around, just being kind of mopey. So they trick him into going on this vacation. And it's a cruise, and all the monsters on board the cruise ship. And there are a lot of really funny gags here, just from how the monsters are integrated into this cruise ship universe, because it's got things that you would see, just stereotypical things you would see on a cruise ship, like shuffleboard, dancing and all that, but how they take the monsters and apply like their lore and their universe into this cruise ship universe, it's really funny. They're playing shuffleboard and like it's a chalk outline of a dead body. And yeah, the fish are the employees, so it's the fish like checking them in into their room, on stage doing like stand-up comedy, and
the
running.
part where he's just singing the song "Moped" by fucking Macklemore, but in just like this monotone voice with his fish head just sticking straight up into the sky with the microphone like nowhere near his fish mouth.
And that one who's put in charge of like the kids area, and there's the two wolves with like the hundreds of rowdy like wolf kids, and they drop them. It's Steve Buscemi and Molly Shannon. And they drop them off with the fish, and like throughout the rest of the movie, you just kind of see in the background just these hundreds of wild wolf children, and that poor fish's head just sticking up out of him every now and then. Like,
help me!
This movie got a lot of laughs out of me, and even. So I'm not the biggest Adam Sandler fan in the world.
He did some of the Adam Sandler like baby talk voice.
He does, but
it was played effectively in this. I feel.
Yeah, which. God, that's rare. Like, cause I'm not the biggest fan in the world. There's been things he's done that I've liked before, but some of the stuff he's done that I really didn't like were stuff that involved him doing a stupid voice. And in this, he does do, it's like you said, he does do a lot of those Sandlerisms in here, but man, it really works.
Yeah.
Like, it really works for this character. And that goes along with how the character moves, how he's animated. It's really natural that this character sounds like this, is reacting like this, and it is a sweet movie. It has like a lot of heart to it.
Yeah, like in the first one, there's a montage at the beginning of like him raising maybe her starting as like a little baby, and he sings her a song, and it's very Adam Sandler. He pulls a fucking ukulele out of nowhere. Maybe I will wipe all your poops away. Yeah. But it fits the movie.
Yeah. And that, you know what? I've noticed that because there's a lot of Happy Madison people in this movie. There's Kevin James. There's
David Spade.
Yeah. David Spade.
Steve Buscemi. Molly Shannon.
I've noticed that when this group is in stuff, whether it's the group or whether it's just Adam Sandler, when they're in stuff and it's not Happy Madison and they have
they're
people
actually trying.
Yeah, Adam Sandler he does do a really good job in this. But
I think it helps that they're not actually on vacation.
That's a really good point.
Like if they were on an actual cruise ship, it'd be like, yeah, whatever, David Spade.
Yeah. That's exactly what this fucking. Maybe that's what lured them into making this movie.
Oh, man.
They didn't tell him till last minute it was an animated film.
Specified.
When it's much more competent people behind the camera and in the writing, like they really work it. Like Kevin James is very funny as the Frankenstein monster.
Yeah, and Fran Drescher is his wife, and in the first one, she's more of like a caricature of like the nagging harridan wife. Sure. But I feel like in this one, I like that they softened that down a little bit. She was still kind of a nag, but she had some like valid points, and you could tell he actually liked her as a person. Yeah. And that's what always bugs me about when you see that dynamic between the nagging wife and the downtrodden, like, oh, everyone loves Raymond, is that he never seems to like her very much. It's like, what are you doing? Just break up. But in this, she's like, will you put some sunscreen on my back? He's like, oh, find my hand. She's like, thank you, honey.
You know where that did work, though, and it involved Adam Sandler, the Zagat's Guide couple from Saturday Night Live.
Sweet release of death, come take me now.
Give me cancer now, God.
She wasn't a nag, though. She was just super happy about the Zagat's Guide. Holy cannoli.
And it was like some of the best Chris Farley sketches where it eventually turns into him
trying to get people to break.
Fucking crack. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, Zagat's Guide was on the best of, and it deserved to be.
Oh, God, yeah. This wasn't like that kind of sketch, really, but it just reminded me of just causing them to lose it. What was it, the O'Hurley boy? Was that the name of it?
Just let the boy sleep in your bed!
I loved the pairing of Chris Farley tries to get Adam Sandler to lose his shit.
Just in the foreground being the tiny voice Hurley boy just... Yeah. And it was like the breaking was... Because So, like, Horatio Sands and Jimmy Fallon had sort of a similar dynamic, but it got to the point where they were breaking just because they knew people liked it.
Yeah.
With Farley and Sandler, they always earned that shit, you know?
Oh, totally. And even when David Spade was cracking up in the Matt Foley sketch, you'd have to be inhuman to not eventually lose your shit in that particular situation. When it got into, like, Jimmy Fallon and all that, yeah, it was a little much.
Yeah.
It got to be a little bit too much. But, no, I really recommend this movie. Again, this is coming from someone who hasn't seen the other two movies.
I don't think you need to, because this is the best of the three. I'm not going to say by far, because I did really enjoy the first one, and I enjoyed the second one okay. It wasn't as good as the first one, but then the first one wasn't as good as the third one.
Sure.
So I'd say watch the third one first, and then we go back and watch the first two. You'd be like, that's where Johnny's backpack came from. He was a groomsman in his wedding. They put a little bow tie on him. It was the cutest goddamn thing.
Andy Samberg has some funny fucking moments in this, and he's used really, the character's used really, really well in that it's like I said earlier, like a lesser sequel would have just kind of given a bunch of useless plot lines and things like that because, hey, this person was big in the other one. In this, yeah, he's in it in that, like, all the other characters are too, but, like, there's a fart joke in this movie that is, like, this movie...
It was so cute!
Yeah, this movie gets huge laughs out of stuff that would not have worked in a lesser sequel. That fart joke and the line Andy Samberg has is really fucking funny. And the movie ends like a lot... or at least in the climax, like a lot of animated kids movies, and there is like a whole song and dance thing at the end, but in this, there is context to it. Like, it does play into the plot, whereas a lesser kids movie sequel, they just would have been dancing to the Macarena for no reason whatsoever.
Well, they dance at the ends of the other two. So, like, this one, it makes more sense in this one than it did in the other two.
Okay.
And I will say, Johnny has gotten less competent as the movies went along.
Yeah, that'll happen.
But it was okay. He wasn't like a floppy shadow of his former self. He was just slightly floppier than his former self.
Yeah, that's something I see in sitcoms all the time.
Yeah, and the first one is like he makes it to the hotel because he's just brave and kind of careless, you know.
Yeah.
But in this one, I feel like he would have just fallen down a mountain and crashed into it.
He did get some really good laughs out of me, though.
He was like he made some good points. You know, he was floppier and less competent, but he still felt like a character.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not
absolutely.
Like, here are your favorite parts of Johnny.
No, and the Wolf, the Steve Buscemi and Molly Shannon, like, they're not in the movie much, but when they are in the movie, you get everything about these two characters and what they're about in this film. They're a married couple with, like, 200 kids that just kind of need a break from that. Like, that doesn't require 30 minutes of a side plot. Like, it's there and it's funny, and none of that really overstays its welcome. Like, no, I had a really good time at this.
I like to, because when we were walking in, I mentioned that my least favorite thing about the first two movies is there's this whole thing about what's called the zing, which is where you look at a person and your eyeballs go pling, and it's a sort of, analogous to love at first sight. But there's this whole big thing about you zing with one person and you never zing again. You get one zing in a lifetime. I'm like, that's not a great lesson to teach to children. But then in this one, he zings again. He's like, I guess you zing twice or however many times. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I mean,
So if you're gonna show your children, make sure you show them all three, so they don't break up with their first girlfriend and then, go into a horrible
because
deep
Drac
depression.
told me to.
That's the only one I get, man. The rest of my life is a shadow.
Damn. This poor fictitious kid. This is a sad story.
Yeah, boo this child I just made up.
Fuck this kid. I don't know why I just said that, but
fuck that kid.
Fuck this kid. No, I mean, I haven't seen the first movie, so I don't know, but in this, it addresses it as like monster lore for these. Yeah,
they specify in this so much. They didn't in the other one. I think it's again to sort of address that being an issue.
Sure, and also it does say you will, because Drax lost his wife and he falls in love with Catherine Hahn in this movie, so there is a whole message about
You can find love again.
Yeah. Be it whether it's a breakup or in this case, his wife dies. Is his wife a character in the other movies?
She died before the first one started, when Mavis was a baby, and they kind of go into like why and what happened, and why he doesn't like humans at that time. But yeah, she was actually, I think, voiced during a flashback scene by Adam Sandler's actual wife.
Oh, right on.
She had the last name Sandler, so I assumed it was his wife.
Oh yeah. I really do want to check those other two movies out when I get the chance. It's stupid. Why did I make time for Mamma Mia to see that before the second movie came out? But I'm too busy to see the first two Hotel Transylvania.
I regret watching Mamma Mia.
No, neither do I.
I feel like it was
terrible, but it was, yeah. The stupid thing is, I could have seen myself getting lost if we went to go see the second movie.
Wait, who are these people?
Who are these fucking people?
What's an ABBA?
Well, that I at least know. Should we do trailers?
Yes. So we got, like, thematically speaking, we got all the dog movies. The first one was Dog Days, which looked really dumb, but it had a lot of the people I really like in it. Like, I saw Lauren Lapkus showed up.
Yeah. Adam
Pally showed up. There's something at the beginning that I was really excited about. It just fell right out of my brain. But like it's all these good Tom Lennon was in it. It looked like that Timothy Chalamet kid.
Oh yeah, I think
it wasn't him. It wasn't. No, it was Stranger Things kid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the really like pale wan one who looks like should be in should be in Midsummer Night's Dream.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. I don't want to see this movie only because we got this trailer in front of Show Dogs.
I kind of do want to see it because like you said, it had Ken Marino's name on it. And like even that Ten Commandments movie that David really likes, I wasn't much for it, but I appreciated what they were going for.
I like Ken Marino, and the trailer makes it look like one of those Gary Marshall holiday ensemble movies.
Yeah, we got to the end of the trailer. I still have no idea what the plot was, except something with dogs.
It looks exactly like one of those movies, like Valentine's Day or New Year's Eve, where it's multiple storylines going on, and they're all connected because dogs.
Because dogs.
Like, that's what it looks like. Like, I mean, maybe it'll be better. It wouldn't take much for it to be better than those. Or Mother's Day was another one.
This is Dog Day.
Dog Day, yeah.
Whatever.
Well, I hope it's better than Mother's Day.
It's gonna bug me though who the other comedian was. Anyway, Axel.
Is the title pronounced Axel or is it
called
AXL?
It's like AXL, but they kept calling the dog Axel during the preview, and so I feel like that's how it's pronounced.
That movie looks January as fuck.
January is #January as fuck.
Yeah, it's coming out in August, which is summer's January. I don't have high hopes for that at all.
No, I just enjoy that turn of phrase. August, the January of summer.
Man.
I thought it looked kind of adorable. It all depends on how cute they make that dog, because I love a robot dog.
It looks exactly like Monster Trucks. It looks like the same movie.
But were the Monster Trucks adorable? Because that dog was kind of adorable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember being put off by the Monster Trucks.
But did you want to kiss their snouts?
Only because, I kind of remember this. Like, I remember it seemed painful to be a monster truck. Like, he's inside the monster truck, and when you hit, like, gas, it seemed relatively painful. I kind of remember. Maybe I'm exaggerating that a little bit, but I sort of remember that about the movie.
It ruins everything! So, like...
It's not a good movie.
So I got Bulldogs ruined for me. This is nothing to do with anything, but I got Bulldogs ruined for me the other day, because that one Bulldog won, like, World's Ugliest Dog this year, and everyone's like, oh, but it's cute. And then this other group of people come up like, don't get Bulldogs. They've been so poorly bred that they're in, like, physical pain all the time.
Oh, God.
Here's what a Bulldog's face looks like. With like they have a picture of the skull, and it's like, its jaw's so mushed in that it's, like, into its brain pan.
Oh, good God.
It's like, they breathe like, they sound like that because they can't breathe.
Lord.
So apparently Bulldogs are the monster trucks of the dog kingdom.
Maybe they'll address that in Dog Days.
Kill me.
This movie took a turn.
Wonder Park.
Oh, the theme park movie.
So, like, I'm not a music snob, and I fully understand that I like a lot of terrible music, and so like if a preview's got Imagine Dragons in it, I'm gonna be like, yay!
Yes, but that's
if you like plugged your ears and watched that trailer, it looked like fucking Norm of the North.
It looked like it might be kind of creative with a lot of the rides and like the roller coasters. I mean, I don't. When did it say it was coming out? Because whatever month it comes out is going to depend highly.
Depends which season, which January of the season.
Yeah.
I didn't notice.
At first, the trailer turned me off because it's another one of those goddamn fucking trailers where emo girl this time is doing "What a Wonderful World." Who is this person? Who is this person that is in
World? And then it did Imagine Dragons. And the Imagine Dragons actually came up on one of the other previews that we'll address that when we get to it.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one, it was kind of a teaser and just, it looked like something that would probably look cool in 3D. Mm-hmm. It looked way better animated than Norm of the North.
Yeah, but it has like those same sort of like floppy bug-eyed creatures that were just there to like come along with the girl. Mm-hmm. And it was like focusing a lot on the rides, and then all of a sudden like this furry animal like, "Blah, me too," and then it was away like, "Oh, don't look at our shameful Norm of the North secret."
The shameful secret of Norm of the North.
Yes. Turns out Norm is actually in this movie. It's just that they've had to branch for the previews. Like,
oh my god, I hope so. Oh, and I hope the lemmings turn up. The lemmings. Did you ever see Norm of the North?
No.
Oh,
I've just seen previews. So like I have I think I feel the sense of Norm of the North.
Oh, it has their version of the Minions in it, which are these lemmings. Holy shit. You gotta see that fucking movie.
Okay, well I'll watch it. I still haven't seen Black Panther. I'm not watching fucking Norm of the North before I watch Black Panther.
Oh, you should.
The House with a Clock in the Walls.
Yeah, that's the new Eli Roth movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it popped up Jack Black, and I'm like, okay, so this is Ghostbusters 2. We got the Ghostbusters 2 preview.
Oh,
Jack
Goosebumps
Black is
2?
Yeah, sorry, Goosebumps 2. Jack Black was not in that preview, but he was in this one. He's like, I'm a warlock, blah.
I'm not an Eli Roth fan at all. This one I actually thought looked really, really good. I mean, it makes sense. He makes exploitation movies for children. He might as well make an actual children's movie.
I'm worried because, like, I thought that The Sorcerer's Apprentice looked good, and this feels kind of Sorcerer's Apprentice-y.
I can see that. I don't know. It looked like it might be kind of fun. Mm-hmm. I'm optimistic about that one.
Well, I like Jack Black. And I like Kate Blanchett. I've never seen that kid, but he seemed fine. He had goggles, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I like movies where people have magical powers. It's just sometimes the movie can't take those components and make like a structure out of them.
I was like you when at first I was like, oh, is this the new Goosebumps movie? No, that one I think looks like, I'm assuming probably coming out around Halloween, maybe.
Well, I think the name of it, no, sorry, never mind. I'm thinking of a different movie.
Oh, I know what you're thinking about. No, I'm curious about that one.
It's going to be fine. Teen Titans Go to the Movies.
I want to see that just because Nicolas Cage finally gets to play Superman.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Cool, because like I used to watch like the old Teen Titans where they actually fought crime and stuff, and I guess Teen Titans Go is different. I think it's a lot of the same voice actors, but it's a lot more zany, and like they said in the preview, they do a lot more just like eating hamburgers and waffles. And this movie kind of builds on that premise of like, we want our own movie, why would we give you a movie? You just eat burgers and waffles. But so then they find Slade, and they're like, okay, we'll just be nemesis with him. And it seemed like there were a lot of comic book references that I didn't get, but that maybe like a Dave or a Brian would get. So I kind of want to go home and show him that preview and see if he gets it.
I've not seen the show, so I don't know if this movie looks good compared to the show. I don't know if fans are looking forward to this movie, but that preview that we got for it is way better than the first trailer that I got for it. This one actually had a few funny parts in it. Like there's a funny there's a funny Alfred gag at the beginning. The first trailer I got for it was just a long fart joke. This one again, I've not seen the show, but the movie looked amusing. But Nicolas Cage is Superman.
I still need to look up who was Slade in that.
Oh, I think it sounded like Will Arnett.
Yeah? Okay. Alpha, which is the other thing that had the Imagine Dragons song, because I turned to you and you said that it would be funny if they played this soundtrack during the actual movie. Because they're like, I bet my life, and the dog's like, I'm gonna get you out of the ice before you die.
I hope to God it plays that in the actual movie that takes place in like 20,000 BC. That movie, man, like it
just needs to come out already.
Right? And we were saying that about Hotel Transylvania 3 because we saw a trailer for that. What, November,
Jumanji.
December?
Yeah.
Like,
the thing is, we saw a trailer at Jumanji. I remember because we watched it 3 times.
Yeah.
Of fucking Hotel Transylvania,
Peter Rabbit,
which you said came out in
like February,
and fucking Alpha, and now we got a trailer for Alpha again. I start feeling like I'm in a fucking time loop.
Finally, all of those movies will be out.
Prophecies will be complete.
Yeah, August, I think, unless it gets pushed back for 100th time. It should be out in August.
Keep pushing it back. Just keep pushing it back, and it'll never be a bad movie. Goosebumps 2, something Halloween.
I had to think. I was like, did the first one not take place during Halloween?
It seems like it. Okay. I think it was right when school got back in, because I feel like he just moved in at the beginning of the school year, and then like Jack Black's daughter, and he's all like, "Ooh, hello," and she's like, "No."
The first one, more or less, I thought was fine. This one,
it's alright.
Yeah, it was better than I thought it was gonna be. But this one just looks like the first one again. Like it looks like the same.
Yeah, because they find a book that's like Haunted Halloween, which maybe that's what it was. Goosebumps 2 Haunted Halloween. But then all the same characters pour up, like the gnomes and that fucking dummy, who just reminds me of the dummy from Buffy.
Oh.
There's an episode of Buffy where this dummy, and they think he's the big bad, but it turns out he's like a monster hunter, and he's just a gigantic pervert because he was a detective in the 1920s who got stuck in a ventriloquist dummy.
I like that.
That dummy was so much better than the Goosebumps dummy.
I want the dummy in that movie.
They're like toots.
Hey, if this Goosebumps movie were an 80s kids movie, that dummy would be a fucking pervert. Make the dummy a pervert, please. I don't know. That was just like Jack Black wasn't even in that trailer except for
I don't think he's in that movie, honestly.
He's the voice of the dummy.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless the dummy in this one is voiced by a sound-alike. But I think he's back in it again. Yeah, but he wasn't. He physically wasn't in the trailer, but it just looked like it was just doing the first movie again.
The dummy's voiced by Lorenzo Music.
Yes. Oh, he's not around anymore. They got to get Dave Coulier.
Oh, okay.
Oh no. Okay. Next week is I'm gonna be out of town. I'm not getting back until I think Sunday.
Something big that we were gonna see is coming out next week, and I can't remember what it is.
Is it Mission Impossible?
I mean, possibly. I definitely want to see that one, but I thought it was more of you and me specific one.
I
can look it up.
If it's Mission Impossible, yeah, or something else. It's like me and you specific. I'll wait until I get back.
Okay. Because we've seen all the other Mission Impossible movies.
Oh, hell yeah! I can't wait. I'm so excited.
I can't wait.
Yes.
I want to get the soundtrack so I can get that song.
Yeah.
Can't stop the friction.
Again, I hope that plays in Alpha.
Yes. Bye, guys.